Welcome to the Curiosity Shop, where we deal exclusively in gaming wares of the strange and bizarre. And tonight, we plundered something from the depths below. Our number 1 and number 2 specialists will assist you further.
Ah, yes. This particularly odorous curio is most fascinating. A recurring character desperately haunting one specific object. Feast your eyes upon the mysterious toilet hand from the Zelda series. The first appearance of this bizarre entity was in The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask, back in 2000. Then, it was simply referred to by 3 question marks. Yeah, kinda hard to pronounce that one. And we're not just calling it so we'll be sticking with the toilet hand. Anyway, this hand appears in the rear of the Stockpot Inn in Clocktown. While the room it appears in may appear to be a small cupboard or pantry, this is actually a restroom, and that indeed is the toilet. Yeah, the hand's coming out of a toilet. Like we said, it's bizarre. But whose hand is it? And why are they in the toilet? The mysterious toilet hand appears in the bathroom every night at midnight, and remains until dawn. And it's actually a side quest NPC that shows up in the Bomber's Notebook, where they are referred to as the person living in the inn's restroom, though their details are simply listed as unknown. Upon talking with the hand, it will ask Link for paper. Any paper. The title deeds to Deku flowers, or letters to put in mailboxes, are the only papers Link can get in the game. For what purpose, we can only guess, but we can only imagine one that would bring shame to these poor documents, especially the heartfelt letters involved in the Anjuin Cafe quest. Anyway, doing so will satisfy the strange being, as the hand grabs the paper, accompanied by the sound of toilet flushing, and awards Link a piece of heart. Certainly the preferable option in this case, though we don't want to know what it too was doing in the toilet. And then, just like that, the entity is gone, because returning on subsequent nights reveals the toilet hand, mercifully, never shows up again. Although Majora's Mask is a game about time travel after all, so if you play the Song of Time and reset the 3-day loop, the hand is once again back in the toilet. You technically never solved its problem after all. So if you repeat the cycle and give the hand paper once again, Link is rewarded with 5 rupees. But it seems completing the mysterious hand's request allows it to finish its business and move on. At least for a time, because it's not long before it makes its number 2 appearance, just a year later, in The Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages. It can be found in a small outhouse within western Lina Village. This time, the hand pops out of a hole in the ground, which, yep, is actually meant to represent a toilet again. In this game, it's represented with a small blue sprite, animating as the hand beckons for someone to help it. The official artwork, however, gives it a much creepier look, with sharp dark nails and a pair of flies nearby. You know, to emphasize the stink. Anyway, in this game, the hand once again plays a role in a quest. However, rather than simply rewarding Link with a piece of heart in a one-off side quest, it's part of the game's long trading sequence. And as you might have guessed, it is once again looking for paper. But this time, the only paper Link gets is the stationery from the postman during the trading sequence. Giving this to the hand will result in Link being given the stink bag, the next item in the sequence, which needs to be given to someone else. Yeah, we're not gonna ask any questions about this one, especially about the contents of the bag. But Link can interact with the hand in different ways, such as by dropping different mystical seeds into the hole, prompting different responses. For example, dropping an ember seed brings up a reaction to the heat, while a scent seed prompts along, ew. Link can also push the nearby pot into the hole, which makes the hand yell, no! Of course, these interactions make the hand even more mysterious, implying that there's more to it than meets the eye, despite only its hand ever being seen. What could the rest of this mysterious being look like? Perhaps some questions are better left unanswered, especially as we still don't even know what the being is. Revisiting this outhouse after giving paper to the hand reveals that, surprisingly, it's still there, and when talked to, says a simple yay. Well, at least they're happy down there. After Oracle of Ages, the toilet hand went missing in action. Until 10 years later, when it mysteriously reappeared in The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword. Here, the hand appears, you guessed it, in the bathroom. Specifically in the bathroom of the Knights Academy in Skyloft. Various students and people in the academy start talking about a ghostly voice heard at night. In the previous games, we didn't really know what this hand actually was, but thanks to Fi here in Skyward Sword, it's confirmed to be a ghost. Anyway, Link can knock on the restroom door and find that the spirit is asking for paper. Yeah, big surprise there. He won't have any paper at the time, but he'll soon be tasked with delivering a love letter for Colin, one of the students of the academy and one of Gru's goons. And Link, humorously, realizes he has some paper and looks over to where else it could be taken to the weirdo in the restroom, as Colin refers to them. If Link brings the letter to the ghostly hand, they're hesitant to take the letter at first, but when reassured, they thank him, then disappear from the bathroom. However, this ghost doesn't move on to the afterlife, or disappear altogether. If given the love letter, the ghostly hand develops feelings for Colin, and will proceed to haunt him every night. Poor Colin. Most notably, this time around the ghost is undeniably just a hand, with seemingly no more of the body implied to exist this time around. Fi even has additional comments about this ghostly hand, believing it to belong to a young girl. While she went unnamed in the original game, 2021's Skyward Sword HD named the ghost as Feeny, short for Phoenix. Like many others in Skyloft, she's named after a bird. But Feeny is special, as the phoenix typically symbolizes immortality, resurrection, and life after death. So it's a pretty fitting name for a ghost. And it might be because of her that we retroactively have the answer for what the original hand in Majora's Mask is, and likely its Oracle of Ages successor, because one change to 2015's 3DS port of Majora's Mask was to give the different side quests proper titles, including for a Mr. Toilet Hand, in this case being the Ghost of the Inn. Okay, so we've been over every appearance this mysterious toilet hand makes in the Zelda games, and have established that it seems to actually be a ghost. But there's still a big question here. Why? As in, how did this ghostly toilet hand even come to be? Well, one of Zelda's creators himself, Shigeru Miyamoto, provides some insight in a 2012 interview by Entertainment Weekly, where he confirms the toilet hand is based on Japanese ghost stories, stating that it's actually something from a Japanese ghost story, not a specific ghost story. There were ghost stories in Japan where, when you were sitting in the bathroom in the traditional style of the Japanese toilet, a hand is actually starting to grab you from underneath. It's a very scary story. Now, notice how Miyamoto says there are some stories, because there are actually quite a few Japanese stories involving ghosts in bathrooms. But two in particular may be the closest we can actually get to finding the origins here. First is probably the biggest of these myths, the ghost of Hanako-san. Hanako-san, or the male counterpart Hanako-kun, is described in legends as a yokai or yurei, with a varying backstory depending on the interpretation. But most of the legend of Hanako shares something in common. Hanako-san is found in the bathroom, and whoever summons her may find a ghostly or bloody hand in the toilet. Now, while that sounds similar to our mysterious Zelda character, the legend doesn't end there with a mere sighting. Those who witness her are then pulled into the toilet, and the stories vary on if this leads to hell or to be eaten by a three-headed lizard. You know, just what you'd expect from being dragged into a toilet. The other story is the legend of Akamanto, also known as the Red Cape. This ghost also haunts bathrooms, presenting its victims with the choice of different colored toilet paper, usually red or blue. Choosing any of the presented options always results in a terrible fate for the victim, but sometimes it's just creepy rather than deadly experiences. In some versions of the story, the choice is between red or white toilet paper, and choosing the white paper results in a white hand reaching out from inside the toilet. Yes, still pretty strange, but surprisingly pretty close to the ideas presented here in the Zelda series. Now, of course, those are just two of many Japanese urban legends, but they're the two that we found may be close to our mysterious toilet hand of the Zelda games. Both are found in bathrooms, and involve a mysterious ghostly hand from within the toilet. Although it's worth mentioning that many of these urban legends present creatures that are far more deadly than the hands found here in the Zelda games. But hold on, deadly hands in the Zelda games? Well, there were actually quite a few of those, aren't there? Wall masters that drop down from the ceiling to bring Link back to the start of a dungeon, floor masters that stalk the ground of dungeons, looking for an opportunity to snatch Link and bring him somewhere else, and most recently, the terrifying gloom hands of Tears of the Kingdom, ready to squeeze the life force out of Link. Could the mysterious ghostly hands have any relation to these? Well, Miyamoto's interview sheds light on this as well, before talking about the ghostly toilet hand. In the original Legend of Zelda game, a gigantic hand appears and grabs you at the entrance to a dungeon. Actually, that has nothing to do with Skyward Sword. Miyamoto is definitely referring to the recurring Wallmaster and Floormaster enemies here, and notes that it has nothing to do with Skyward Sword specifically, since that was more or less the focus of the interview, being the latest Zelda game at the time. So, it seems safe to say Feeny and Skyward Sword is far more human, or at least human-like in their depiction, so we'll mark them down as most likely just a human ghost, and turn our attention to the pair from the early 2000s. The Majora's Mask hand is designed like a frail old man, ghostly perhaps, but undeniably the hand of a person. The Bomber's Notebook describes them as a person living in the restroom. But one detail most people overlook is the size of this hand. Seriously, everything we see from the bottom of the arm to the tips of the fingers is as tall as Link is. That doesn't match up with any other species or creature found in the Zelda games, other than monsters. Despite this monstrous size difference, they're ultimately still treated like a person. They may be strange, but they're probably not too far removed from Feeny. In Oracle of Ages, however, it's a bit different. We talked about this artwork before, but now we can't help but feel the dark green skin and dark pointed nails may be hiding a much more sinister origin for this hand, especially when compared to the design and artwork for the Wall Masters. Creepy hands with long pointed nails. This design certainly feels closer to the legends of yokai and other creatures. It's a good thing Link is the hero then, or I fear for whoever else decides to drop a pot down this hole. Perhaps we'll never know the full origins behind these mysterious ghostly hands of the Zelda series, but with such a scattered attendance record, even sticking around in the various remakes, maybe we'll see them appear yet again in a future title, and if so, they will more than likely carry on the consistent tradition, appearing from within a toilet, begging someone, anyone, for some paper. And maybe, just maybe, some future Link will have just what the hand needs. But beyond that, their very existence will always remain very curious.
I can tell you're hungry for more, but that's all the time we have. Subscribe to keep tabs on our latest wares, and slip any comment below. And please, let us know if there's anything, especially peculiar anythings, for us to look into. Thank you for visiting the Curiosity Shop. We hope to see you again real soon.